And I mean, given that, I mean, in this day and age, I think a lot of people rely on science, on precision, uncertainty. I mean, maybe we don't know, but are people still using feng shui a lot? I mean, let's use Singapore as an example. Are people still practicing this?
Definitely, a lot of people are actually practicing feng shui still, right? Because they have actually benefited from the the way feng shui has worked for them, right? So definitely, a lot of people are still doing it, whether it's commercial, whether it's a home,
Yep.
right? Whether it's in the area of studying landform, right? A lot of people are still using feng shui as a basic principles to help them to guide them, right? To actually come up with a more viable option, to achieve a certain level of effectiveness.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
So definitely, it's still something that's widely practiced. It's just that a lot of people are actually not trying to admit.
Yeah, they want to call it feng shui
They want
lah,
to call it feng
basically.
shui, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. And like, so in countries like predominantly Chinese countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and of course, obviously China, how is feng shui still being practiced? Maybe, and this I'm just curious lah, at maybe the government level, maybe at company level, how are people still using this?
Okay, generally in most countries, of course, countries that's very Asian oriented, especially, they are still practicing feng shui from the top level down.
Okay.
All right. So of course, if you talk about Singapore, a lot of people would not admit that. I'm not instigating anything.
It's good to learn.
But we know that to a certain extent, feng shui was actually incorporated into
Is it?
the development.
Okay, okay.
Right?
So William, just to dive into the next part, I've always been curious. I know you run your own feng shui consultancy firm, right? Are there people still, asking you for these services? And if so, what kinds of things are they asking you for?
Now, that's a very good question, Ajay Faris. Basically, a lot of people are still looking for feng shui. I mean,
Okay.
there's a reason why they are looking at feng shui.
Okay.
Of course, the very basic understanding is survival.
Okay.
Again, I mean, if you are take for example in business, in commercial, right? You want to make sure that firstly, your business survives.
Okay.
Now, of course, the next thing you want to look at things like competitive advantage.
Okay.
How can you do better than someone else in terms of your business? So it goes back to things like the fisherman example that I was telling you earlier, right? So the fisherman is actually looking at survival as the very, very first instant because of livelihood.
Okay.
So once they are able to survive based on the conditions and the existence of nature, then they want to
Go one step further.
one step further.
Okay, okay.
Right. So the one step further is how do I do more? How do I supply more, catch more, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
it's the same, actually it's the same philosophy for commercial as well.
Okay, okay. So in a sense, you're trying to put yourself in the best position for success, lah.
Precisely.
For fish to come into the net, for money to come into your pocket.
Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
we want to make sure we put in the best situation, the best environment to harness all this. We always call it energy, all right? To balance up this energy and then also to enhance it
Okay.
and to increase it
Okay.
to a certain effectiveness level. Right.
And of course, we're not just talking about money, right? Let's say even for households,
Yeah.
right? Feng shui can be a thing that you can, for example, improve your family livelihood, your marriage, for example. Do people come to you for that also?
Oh yeah, for sure. So just now we were talking about companies. Companies, because you want to, companies is also not just about making money.
Okay.
It's also to make a very good environment for the staff that are employees.
Okay.
All right. Also for the associates and maybe the people that they deal with. So similarly for a home, when you're staying in a home, the home is actually a place where you stay almost 1/3 of your time.
True.
All right. So you want to ensure that your house actually has a very good balance of energy, so that when you go back, you actually enjoy the positive flow of energy and harmony.
Okay.
All right. So that you can improve things like your relationship
Okay.
with your family members, for example.
Yes.
All right. Things like you want to improve your health because 1/3 of your time is actually from the home.
Yeah.
So you want to have a place whereby you can relax, at the correct in the most conducive condition. Right? Of course, that is only health. You also want to make sure that you arrange your house in a way whereby you can actually leverage on the different factors to improve your lifestyle.
Okay.
Things like maybe your wealth. A lot of people are always very concerned about wealth.
Of course, of course.
Yes. So you want to make sure that you stay in a place whereby your career can take off, or at least is stable.
True.
Right? So you also want to look at the emotional part of the house, so that everything is in balance, that you'll not fall into a situation where you're going to have a lot of destabilized emotional problems and difficulties,
True.
right? Which will affect your relationship. So there are actually many aspects that people are looking at, when they want to consult about Feng Shui.